Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyervip.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Now, today is June the 14th, 2017. And I was online and I was getting hit with, or ran into, a bunch of stories involving this Ward-Kovalev fight, where Kovalev is trying to badmouth Ward's team. Right? Now let me just say, because I do feel that misinformation needs to be corrected. I know Ward's manager, James Prince, who seems to know everybody. Right? I'm sure 90% of the people watching this video seem to know James Prince. Right? Well, just understand, I know in business negotiations, right, people are going to be tough. They're going to try to do whatever they can to deliver value to their clients. In James Prince's case, value to his fighter, Andre Ward. But what I want people to do is to Google James Prince. You'll find out that there was some time within the last 10 years or so where the city of Houston actually had a James Prince Day. And the reason was because of the work he has done in underprivileged communities. Right? Fifth Ward, Houston. Understand, let me just say, the hip-hop community does a lot of work, philanthropic work, to help folks in underserved communities. You'd be surprised. So, while I have no doubt that representatives for both fighters have been very strident, we'll call it, in negotiations and in dealing with the other camp, just understand that these are good people who really are trying to create opportunities for others, right? I can tell you that's really what James Prince is about. Creating opportunities for others, right? Sure, I have no doubt during negotiations he's in there fighting for Andre Ward, right? And I'm sure he may have ruffled some feathers. But let's be careful. I don't want Kovalev to be out there giving the wrong impression of folks who are professionals who are just trying to do their jobs, who are also big-time philanthropists, in helping underserved communities. Let's talk about this Tyron Zuege versus Paul Smith fight. I know a lot of people are hoping that Paul Smith somehow finds a way to bring home the title, right? I think he's going to lose. I like Tyron Zuege big time. I believe the difference here is going to be Zuege's legs, right? There's a huge gap here in terms of foot speed and foot movement, right? Zuege is blessed. He can move around the ring however he wants. Paul Smith, by contrast, is going to look like he's standing in a sandbox. He won't be able to move. He won't be able to keep up with Zuege. Now, Zuege is not a deconstructionist, right? He's not a guy who's going to come inside, engage you, outbox you, have a lot of combinations, have a lot of defensive moves. That's not his game. Rather, this is a guy who's what I call a sudden hooker, right? He's outside moving around, then suddenly he jumps in with a hook. Right? That's his real game. He's two-handed. He's an ambush fighter, another term I've used here online. Right? He's episodic. The problem is he's fighting a guy, Paul Smith, who isn't that mobile, whose last 3 fights were slated to go not 10 rounds, not 8 rounds, but 6 rounds. Right? Paul Smith really is on the downside of his career. And as you look at highlights of him and researching the fight, Don't be fooled by highlights where the fighters are immobile and standing in front of each other, right? Because that's not going to be this fight, right? Zuege is going to be moving around the ring far too well for that to happen, right? What I want you to do is to think about how Paul Smith does on the move, not when he's stationary, right? Fighting on the move is a different animal entirely. A lot of guys lose power when they're trying to move while throwing punches, right? They don't get the leverage. They aren't able to lean into the shot and stuff like that. This fight's going to be on the move. So in my opinion, this fight is a mismatch. I'm expecting Tyron Zuege, I know I've butchered his name throughout this, I apologize, but I'm expecting the champion to successfully defend his title. I would not be surprised if this fight ends by stoppage. As it is, I'm expecting a one-sided fight in favor of the champion. For cautious bettors, if you want to hedge, the only hedge I can think of is Paul Smith by KO. He only has a puncher's chance. He's just not mobile enough to compete with Zuege on the scorecards. I like the champ in this one. I'm expecting a dominant performance. The problem with getting older, as Smith has done, right, is that when you're fighting a young guy who's more mobile than you, you're going to look slower. You're going to be unable to catch up with him, right? He's going to view you as target practice. That's what I think is going to happen in this fight. I'm expecting Zuege to successfully defend his title. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.